What's up, YouTubers, Cinephiles? Welcome back to another edition of Nerd with me, John Ricky here. And I'm here to bring you the second part to this Death Note extravaganza. The live action release on Netflix now. Figure I'd do that one first since I've already seen the original series in the first place, and now is a new perspective with live action movie. Now, since I gave you my thoughts on the movie, how about I tell you about the amazing series that it's based on? Now, this one's going to be both a review and somewhat of a rant with the comparisons I'm going to be making with the live action and the manga and how they so differ in tone and just setup and how they're portrayed, because it's almost night and day between the two. So again, Death Note is created by writer Sugumi Oba, who wanted to create it's about morality, it's about what would you do if you had the power to cleanse the world, and if you had that power, would you be able to control yourself with that power, or would you let the power consume you? And that's what this story is about. It really drives it home well. And Death Note is a great duel of minds, particularly with the main characters of Light, Yagami, and L, the detective that's trying to bring him to justice. Now, like I said before, can't really avoid them, so I gotta make some comparisons, particularly with characters and so on and so forth. So here we go. Compared to the movie on Netflix, Light's smart in the Netflix series, so to speak, but like Yagami in the manga and the anime is super intelligent, pretty popular. He's like basically going to be the valedictorian of his class. He's like super smart. Plus, he's basically what every guy wants to be honest. Almost to the point of nauseum. And above all, the man is laser focused. Like to the point of where it's almost like he's OCD to the nth degree. But you know what? He has all this success. Even though he's just in high school, he has a great family life. His whole family is together. He has a sister, he has a mother still alive, and so on and so forth. His dad's a police detective or commissioner, I think. But he feels unsatisfied. He feels bored with his existence right now. He's just kind of just mowing through life, just like, what is there? I don't care. What is there to do? And that actually makes a very good dynamic, because when the anime starts, you're met with Ryuk, the Shinigami, the death god in the Shinigami realm, which you didn't get in the Netflix movie. But he is also bored himself. He's like, what is there to do? There ain't nothing to do. All the other Shinigamis are just gambling and just really lousing about, bored as hell. He's like, I don't know, whatever. And I think that's a great dynamic, is the fact that they're both kind of like the same coin, just different sides. One's on the death side, the other one's on the human side. But they're both in a complacency that they're not really like accustomed to. They're not really feeling. And that's actually a great dynamic with these two characters. That's what makes these characters so complex, is the fact that they're both bored, and basically they're on a collision course to just meeting together, and fate is bringing them together, and it works out. So Ryuk drops his notebook, waits 5 days, and in this time we're following Light, who happens to find the book, sees it fall at a school, picks it up. He's the only one that sees the book in the first place, so he picks it up, and just out of, for lack of a better saying, morbid curiosity, he starts writing in the book, reads the rules, and we're off to the races. So finally, when Ryuk decides to, alright, it's been enough time, let me see what's going on, it's like, what's going to happen? He makes his way to the human realm, finds Light, and finds out that Light has been busy. Light has been proactive, unlike his movie counterpart, which Ryuk shows up in the first place, scares the crap out of him in hilarious fashion, by the way, and starts goading the live action version of Light to use the notebook. Come on, buddy, let's give you a push. You're gonna do it. Whereas Ryuk comes to find that Light Yagami from the anime has already just dove in. And Ryuk right there just becomes so impressed. He has to stay. He's compelled to stay. And watch what happens with this guy. And of course he gives them the rules that are actually better explained, and even the consequence of his actions. Whereas in the movie you really don't get the consequence of his actions, like for the fact that he is barred from going to heaven or hell once he's finished using it and dies. They don't explain that in the movie. Anyway, they meet, and he's creeped out. Light is creeped out by Ryuk at first, but Light has basically done his Sherlock Holmes and kind of deduced that, alright, there's no book, obviously it's real, it's doing its thing, this must be the property of a Reaper, or as the Japanese call it, Shinigami. And so he's not really that surprised, and that's the cool thing about him, is that he is so on top of things. And he declares that he's going to become the god of the new world. He's going to shape it in his image. And that's when you notice, like, oh man, am I watching the ascension of a villain and didn't know it? The main character of this show is a villain? And as the show goes on, you're basically right. I mean, you are seeing the ascension of a villain. And a great villain needs his foil. And that comes in the form of this enigmatic detective named L. A very quirky, uncouth version of Sherlock Holmes. Like to the nth degree, where he's probably on the higher end spectrum of Asperger's. I mean, he's so socially awkward. He has a love for sweets and everything like that. And you are introduced to this guy, and he's so intelligent. You're like, oh my god, he is really the Sherlock Holmes of this story, and we're seeing the Sherlock Holmes type of story from the point of view of Moriarty, Sherlock Holmes' greatest villain. And hence the rest of the show is all about how they try to one-up each other and try to figure out who's who. Elle is sure that Light is this new Lord Kira that's been making headlines and killing criminals, declaring a new world order in his image, and he wants to stop him just because he just sees him as a murderer. And basically he's right, but at the same time you look at Light's his philosophy and you're like, you know what, I kind of agree with both of them. It's like, yeah, Light's right, but Elle's right too. It's like, you shouldn't have that type of power, you shouldn't do this. It's like, who are you to do that? And that's what the great thing about the show is. Not only that, but with each episode, and I guess that's where the length of the episode, because there's 37 episodes in this show, and each one of them, as it unfolds, I mean, it unfolds like a beautiful flower in terms of the Death Note, because there's so many rules, and almost every episode deals with how Light gets out of situations, always almost getting caught, almost getting found out, and every time he's backed out into a corner, he finds a way to bend the rules of the Death Note and get out of it in some amazing, methodical, and almost outrageous ways that just work so well. You're like, my god, I never would have thought of that. And it's just so intelligent and perfectly made. On top of that, the animation is top notch for an anime or any type of cartoon animation that you've seen. It's some of the best artwork I have ever seen. It's beautifully macabre and gothic, incredible to look at. And also, I mean, all the characters are just so complex. I mean, Light's philosophy versus Elle's philosophy, Ryuk's interest in human behavior with these two humans that are just so intelligent. He keeps getting impressed by each one. It keeps being revealed. And Ryuk is completely different from the film, where he's just used, like, he's not used enough. And Ryuk's role in this movie, or in the series, he's basically the audience. He's us just watching this unfold. I mean, he's walking around like, and he can't step away from Light because he doesn't know what he's going to do next, and he's loving every minute of it. He's just so glued, and he's connected to Light. He doesn't stray away from him for too long, because he's just like, oh my god, this Light character and this L, oh my, this is like watching pay-per-view for like 24 hours a day. It's incredible, and that's what makes him so interesting himself, because he's just like, man, I don't even care what happens, but I'm intrigued of what happens next. And he's basically like a macabre ghost version of Joker. He just keeps goading him and gives nice little commentary hits to Light whenever he's like, oh, he got you, and everything like that. It really makes it kind of goofy and funny. It's an amazing show. I mean, this show came out, I think, a year or two before Breaking Bad did, but honestly, I think it's like the supernatural predecessor to what Breaking Bad became. You know, I mean, in how everything really connects together, and plus, it's the way it ends is perfect. I mean, it was perfect the way it ends, and really, as the story goes on, you're like, yeah, that's the way it should end. It should end that way. But there is one flaw with the series, and that's the fact that there is a certain point where it goes over too long, like right around episode 27, and there's like 10 more episodes to go. You're like, probably shouldn't have been 10. At most, it probably should have been like maybe 3 more episodes. But other than that, this is a great show, a great series. Even if you're not into anime or not, but I'm telling you, this series will make you love anime. I mean, it's just as good as anything. So, on that note, I give Death Note the series, the anime series, a great, big, enthusiastic
I'll be back.
But anyway, YouTubers and Cinephiles, let me know what you think. Subscribe, comment, like, share amongst your friends, and I'll see you next time, YouTubers, Cinephiles. Catch you later.